First things first, of course, we are looking at a building right now, and we have uh, no windows on that building, and so that's not a good thing. So let's get some windows in, let a little light in there. I think it'll make everybody a lot happier. What kind of windows are we going to use on the outside? Well, on this lower level, on the corridors, we can choose whether or not we're going to let light in down here. Of course, we want some light in the conference room. Naturally, we won't have any windows on some of these areas and spaces in here. So let's decide where we are going to have them. Let's go to the second floor for just a minute. Okay. So if we go to the second floor, all right, we see we have all these windows, and then we have a storage space right here. And then we have a little hallway that leads to a stairwell. And we probably want to let a little light in here. Um, and that'll make it a little more, give a little more feeling of security. So let's look at some of the windows we have available. Obviously, in all these offices, we're going to have windows that are either going to be fixed or they're going to be sliding. What do I mean by that? Well, let's try and load a family and see what Revit has available for us. Um, so if you look, there's a couple of these windows, but these are more residential type, residential style sort of windows. And so what we're looking for here is something that is likely fixed, right? And maybe even an opportunity for an awning type window, not like these. Again, these are all residential. We want more commercial style windows. So we want to have a instance that is fixed that we can adjust, and we kind of already have that. We have that right here, this 36 by 72. We just want to make it wider is what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead, since it's a casement window, it will crank and open. So if I go ahead and grab that and pull that out, right, I can see the sill height's at 1 foot, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to bring this into this little office space, and I'm going to drop it right here. Now, obviously, that's a very tiny window. We want our window to be proportionate to the space we have. So what's nice, what we can do, of course, is go in and edit type and duplicate. And let's take this window and let's make the window 72 by 72, right? It's a 6 foot by 6 foot window. That's a decent size. So I can go in here and change this width to 6 foot. And now that window is much larger, right? And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go to the outside and kind of just get a peek and see what that window looks like. All right, so here we have that window that is in the space now. Let's go ahead and look at a section through the room real quick. That'll help us too. Let's look really briefly. Let's take this section we have right here. All right, and let's stretch it a little more. And let's see what that section looks like in that office. So if we go to this view, right, and I go to this office space and it has this ceiling in it, that's, a nice size. And let me stretch one of these away so we can see it a little better. Okay, that's a nice size office for a space like that. As far as the sill is concerned, the sill's at 1 foot. Let's see what it would look like if the sill was at 2 foot. What kind of look do we have there? That's kind of nice because then we can put a piece of furniture down low here. But look, if we do that, it's a lot closer to the ceiling than we want. And that ceiling's going to be at 8 feet in the offices. So maybe let's try 1'6". Okay, I think that's good. That 1'6" is nice. It leaves a little space to the top. And it seems like we're doing okay with that. So what we can do is we can go back to the second floor, and now we can take that window, right? And what we can do is just copy that window, right? And we're thinking, how do we locate that window within the space? Well, the way I think about spaces like this, and this is just for your benefit later on, I draw a detail line, right? From one corner of the room to the other corner of the room, right? And then I kind of draw a line from the middle, just a detail line, right? And what I can do is copy this window, right? I can say copy multiple from the center of this window all the way to that line, right? And now I can kind of do the same thing as I copy up. What if I select this window? Now I can say copy from, I can grab from the corner of this room, right, to the corner of this room, and now to the corner of this room. Now, this office here, you know, this is more of a bigger size office. That one isn't quite centered in that room. So what I'll do is I'll just grab a detail line again, and and I'm doing this because I want you to see something from the outside, because oftentimes we're more concerned about how some of these windows will look from the outside. So let's take a look, right? So as I look at these, there are those 4 windows in the building there, and how they look from the outside. And if I go to a west elevation, that west elevation shows that the increments aren't quite as even as we might like them to be as far as how they look on the outside. For what we're doing though, this is okay, because I'd much rather have them centered on the spaces within the office here. Okay, now obviously we're going to need those windows on the other side of the building. Can we mirror those windows over? Well, let's see. Right, first I'm going to delete these detail lines. I don't need them anymore. I'm going to click 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. Now, this one isn't quite going to work like we hope, because this office isn't the same size. But if I click mirror axis and I click on column line or grid line 1.2, it says it can't place them outside a host, because, and those elements won't be copied because it's not quite centered exactly between them. So again, I'd have to take a detail line. Save my project. I'm going to take a detail line, not from the window, but I'm going to do it from the wall, right? So I'm going to go from the wall right here, and wherever you grab is fine, but I'm going to grab from there, and then I'm going to grab here, because see how I got to touch the drywall, right? And then I have to find the center of that, which is right here, right? And I might even, you know what, just for my benefit, so I can see it a little better, under architecture, I might say, let me draw a model line. Remember, we can see a model line in the 3D view. I'm not going to keep it very long, but it's easier to see that right there. And I'm going to grab these 4 windows. I'm holding down Control while I do that, and mirror right to there. And now those kind of pop in everywhere they need to, except in this last office where I need to go in and kind of make this work, right? And then I can just say align to here, that, right? And then I can delete those lines and I'm okay. I can even delete this now, because now what I can do, right, is select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then I can go copy, paste, align to selected levels. I want it on the 3rd and 4th floor. Okay, and now I go to my 3D view, and I can see I have my windows on that side that I need, and I have my windows on that side that I need. Okay, so I can go back to the 2nd floor, and I know this space right here is going to be a supply, sort of a storage, copying kind of space. So it'd be nice to have some windows in there too, wouldn't them? And then maybe they can be larger windows. I can grab one of these, whoops, and I can go create similar, and I can place that here, right? And I can say, let's make a larger version of this. Let's put this, right? Let's say, let's duplicate this, and let's make this an 8-foot by 6-foot window. So let's go 96 wide on this one, right? And then I can make the width 8 foot. All right. So anytime they're going to need to go and make copies, or most people are going to have printers in their office, but um, what we can do is just ensure that there's a space for them to do copying, and then there's actually some storage in here as well. So I'm going to place a dimension on this. Let's do that. Let's get this from this wall. See what that dimension is. Let's even that up. Let's make that maybe 6 foot. Okay, so that's 6 foot. And then if I want to, I can maybe copy one more from this center, and I can say um, uh, let's put 10 feet between the centers of them. See what that looks like. That's good, right? So now we can see that dimension from there to there is actually 10 foot. All right, good. Okay, so I got that in there, and now I can say copy once, twice, and what? Um, Hold on a second, let me try that one more time. Uh, Copy the clipboard, then paste a line to second selected levels, third and fourth floor. And if we go to a 3D view, now we've got those windows in that portion of the building as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'll save it out. If you want to go ahead and get uh, those windows in, what I'll do is go ahead and place a dimension on these so you can see them. So basically from that stairwell wall right there to the center of that, there's that dimension. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put a string of dimensions there so you can see what some of those dimensions are. They're a little odd, but they're centered on the office, and that's what's important for us here. So you'll be able to get those dimensions off of there and then kind of mirror those to the other side. I'll do the dimensions there as well, though, and they can be temporary for right now. Kind of got that same dimension there, but then as I go from here, I can go to that window and then to that window and that window, and I can pull those dimensions out there, and then you'll have those there as well. Okay, all right, so I'll go ahead and save this, and then we'll move on to our next one in about 15 minutes.